Let's talk about one of life's great mysteries. No, not why your socks disappear in the dryer, or why Nicolas Cage keeps saying yes to movies. Come on, give it a rest already, Nicholas. We're here asking the simple, obvious, slightly infuriating question, why don't governments tax the rich? Because let's be real, if you make $40,000 a year, the government is basically standing outside your paycheck with a vacuum cleaner. But if you make $40 million a year, suddenly you got accountants, loopholes, offshore accounts, and a golden yacht named Tax Haven 3. So buckle up, because this is going to be a ride, a very funny and a slightly depressing ride. Unlike Disneyland, but the roller coaster is your financial future. A tax fairy tale. Once upon a time, in a land not so far away, probably Delaware, because every shady company is based in Delaware, the government told us a story. It went like this. If the rich have more money, they will invest in businesses, create jobs, and everyone will benefit. It's called trickle-down economics. Trickle-down economics, because who doesn't love the idea of waiting for a billionaire to accidentally drop crumbs off his golden croissant so you can lick them off the floor? This was the grand fairy tale. Let the rich keep more, and eventually it will rain jobs and opportunity for everyone else. Spoiler alert, instead of raining jobs, it rained private islands, super yachts, and Jeff Bezos' $500 million yacht that literally had to dismantle a historic bridge just so it could pass through it. That's not trickle down. That's trickle over your face while you drown. But governments, they still tell us this fairy tale because billionaires have really good lobbyists and have very magical abilities. They turn campaign donations into policies like Hogwarts, but with fewer wizards and more golf trips. Here's the thing. The rich don't just have money. They have an entirely different tax code. See, you and I, we pay taxes. End of story. We don't even get a plot twist. But the ultra-rich, they don't make money, they arrange it. They massage it like it's spa day for their bank account. For example, okay, you buy a sandwich, you pay sales tax. Elon Musk buys X, he gets a tax break. You buy a car, you pay tax. Jeff Bezos buys a rocket, and he probably writes it off as a business expense. It's like we're playing Monopoly with normal rules, and billionaires are playing with cheat codes. 3 extra set of dice, and the ability to flip the board whenever they're losing. It's just not fair. So why don't governments stop it? Because governments are like your broke friend who always says, "Don't worry, I'll pay you back." But then you find out he's working at Uber's chief policy advisor. Politicians and billionaire besties. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. And no, not the Republican elephant or the Democrat donkey, although both of those animals are heavily funded by billionaires. Politicians don't tax the rich because, drumroll, hit it, the rich are the ones funding their campaigns. Imagine you're a politician. On one side, you got regular people like us, please tax the billionaires. We're drowning out here. And the other side, you got an actual billionaire saying, hey, here's $1 million donation and also a free vacation to my private island. Just don't look at the sweatshop. Who are you going to listen to? Spoiler, it's not the guy eating instant ramen and yelling on Twitter. So the government and billionaires are basically in a toxic relationship, and we've all been there. The government says, we'll protect you from taxes. And the billionaires, they'll say, we'll protect you from unemployment. And the rest of us are standing outside the window like, can I get health care? Tax loopholes, aka hide and seek for billions. Let's talk about the loopholes, because rich people, they don't avoid taxes. They just strategically forget about them. Take capital gains, for example. If you make money from a job, you pay regular income tax. But if you make money from selling stocks, you pay way less. Why? Because apparently money from stocks is special money. Like, oh, it isn't labor money? This is clean. Wall Street money? Then there's the step-up basis. Loophole. It basically means if you don't inherit billions, you don't pay much tax because the government doesn't want to hurt your feelings while you're mourning your billionaire grandpa. And then there, of course, is the offshore tax havens. You know, you're rich when your money takes more vacations than you do. You know that? The Cayman Islands, where billionaires send their cash to tan. Meanwhile, I can't get my bank to waive a $35 overdraft fee. Like, hello, can I get a loophole? Where's my bank account magically reset every time I buy Taco Bell at 3 a.m.? What happens when we ask to tax the rich? Whenever we say, hey, maybe we should tax the billionaires, the rich immediately scream, socialism! It's like the word socialism is their safe word. You could say, hey, billionaires, can you maybe pay the same percentage of taxes as a school teacher? And they're like, what is this, communism? Next you'll be seizing my Lamborghini to feed the poor. No, Brad, we just want functioning roads. And let's be real, asking billionaires to pay more tax is like asking a toddler to share their toys. They'll cry, they'll scream, throw a tantrum, and eventually their nanny, aka the government, will stop in and say, don't worry, sweetie. You don't have to share. A reality check. Here's the cold truth. Governments don't tax the rich because they don't need the rich's money as much as they need the rich's influence. Rich people control the media. They control corporations. They fund politicians. They even have lobbyists who write actual laws. That's right. Billionaires literally write the rules of the game. It's like playing poker where your opponent is both the dealer and the casino owner. And if you dare to suggest taxing them, they'll tell you it's bad for the economy. Taxing me is bad for the economy. Because I've seen billionaires launch themselves into space for fun. And I don't think that economy needed that. Unless the economy was running short on giant floating penis rockets. What would happen if we did tax the rich, though? Let's just think about that for a moment. Now imagine, just for fun, because we know it's not going to actually happen, suddenly we have enough money for universal health care, better schools, functioning public transportation, maybe even potholes that don't swallow the entire car. We could fix climate change and homelessness, and maybe even make student loans disappear, like my self-esteem after scrolling Instagram. But instead, we keep letting billionaires hoard wealth like dragons in a cave, except instead of fire breathing, they just breathe heavily into microphones while saying, we're job creators. No, Jeff, you're not a job creator. You're a job eliminator who invented self-checkout machines so we can all work at the grocery store for free. The joke is on us. At the end of the day, government don't tax the rich because we, the regular people, get away with it. We argue about left versus blue versus red, Coke versus Pepsi, while billionaires are just sitting back like, ah, yes, dance for me, peasants. It's like being at a magic show where you keep arguing which hand the magician used. And meanwhile, he's already stole your wallet. We're distracted, they're protected, and the tax code remains more complicated than a Christopher Nolan movie. A hopeful ending, kinda. So where do we go here? Step 1, stop believing the fairy tales. The rich don't need more money to create jobs. They need to be taxed so society doesn't collapse like a Jenga tower built by toddlers. Step 2, demand accountability. If billionaires can afford yachts with submarines inside them, they can afford to fund schools without working air conditioning. Step 3, maybe run for office yourself, because clearly, if politicians won't tax the rich, we need people who aren't afraid of losing billionaire donors, because we don't have any billionaire donors. We just have crippling student debt and a dream. So why doesn't the government tax the rich? Because they don't want to. Because they benefit from not doing it. Because the rich wrote the rules of the game. Maybe it's time for governments to look at billionaires and say, here, buddy, it's time that you chip in, and no, you don't get to write it off as a business expense. But don't hold your breath, because we'll probably end up dying. Anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure you check out the videos on the next slide. There'll be one on the left, one on the right. I'd appreciate it if you check them all out and like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Take care.